Hey everyone, this is Joanne coming to you live from New York. I'm also known as #UnicornBoss. So as you guys are jumping online tonight, go ahead and hit me up with some unicorn emojis because those are my jam. If you're grabbing me live, go ahead and leave me a number 1. And if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and leave me a number 2. So super excited tonight, you guys. We're gonna do our Win It Wednesday. So on Wednesdays here, I always talk about tips and tricks for your keto journey. So I got some really great questions on my post earlier today. So I picked a few of them that I thought would be really great to go over that we haven't covered yet, and really excited to hopefully chit chat a little bit tonight about the keto journey. So I see a bunch of you guys jumping online. Welcome. If you're grabbing me live, go ahead and leave me a number 1, and if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and leave me a number 2. By the way, if you're a brand new friend, don't forget to go ahead and comment new below so that way I can circle back around and connect with you. And if we're not friends yet, go ahead and send me a friend request and hit follow. And if you haven't followed me yet, go ahead and just click on my face. It will take you over to my page, and from there you can click follow. I want to make sure you don't miss out on all of the fun things here that we do on my page, especially in regards to the keto journey. And I am working on getting my followers up, so I would appreciate the love and support in that respect. So let me say hi to a few people real quick. Welcome. Hey Shauna. Hi Anna. Who else do we have here? Courtney, Denise, Shanique, Emily, Susan. So welcome everybody. So on Wednesdays, I always do a quick little fun tips and tricks for keto. I have a training usually that I do on Wednesday nights, so usually it's not a good night for cooking, but I do usually open up right on my page. I put a post out every Wednesday asking you guys to share your keto questions. So if you want to comment on today's post, I do save them and I kind of go back through them, and I use these for typical Wednesday topics. So if there's something that really is on your mind and on your heart that you want to learn about the keto journey, feel free to go ahead and just comment on that post, and I will try and get to as many of them as I can. So hey Suzanne, welcome. Hi Maddie. Hi Court. So I've got a few topics for tonight's Win It Wednesday. So no cooking tonight, Tom. We'll be cooking tomorrow. So for tonight's topics, we're going to be talking about hair loss, water goals, electrolytes, and lazy keto. So hopefully those are some things that pique your interest. And if you're keto, go ahead and comment keto below and let me know how long you've been on the journey. If you're brand new to me, welcome. My name is Joanne. I've been keto since October, and I'm down about 60 pounds, and I'm just loving this lifestyle. So thanks for sharing that. By the way, if you enjoy my page and you have a lot of fun here and you enjoy the high vibe and all the keto things that we do here, make sure you go ahead and give this video a quick share. I so appreciate your love and support. Okay, so let's get started. So how many of you guys are struggling or have struggled with hair issues ever since you went keto? So if you can relate at all, you can go ahead and comment hair below. I know that was something I was actually struggling with before I went keto. When I first started my health journey, I was actually up over 200 pounds. And as I started to lose the weight, I started experiencing hair loss, which can be very crippling, especially as a woman. It was so bad for me at one point. I was actually getting a bald spot in the front, and it was something that I was really self-conscious about. So if you are struggling with hair issues, if you're struggling from hair loss, or you have struggled with it in the past, go ahead and comment hair below. I would love to just kind of see that here in the comments and be able to swing back through and help anyone that may need some help and support on that. And thank you all so much for the shares. Courtney, Bethany, Court, right in a row, got 3 shares. So sending you all a lot of love. Thank you all so much. So I'm starting to see some hair comments come in, so thank you so much for that. So yeah, I actually struggled with hair loss before I went keto. I was losing hair that was a lot more than is typical for like a woman to lose. Of course, you know that some of our hair will come out when you're, in the shower or when you're brushing your hair. But it was extreme. I could really tell, and I saw the thinning in the front, and I could see the scalp. And I do have before and after photos on my page. I'll have to see if I can dig them out because it's been a little while since I've shared them, but I really was suffering from some severe hair loss. So thanks for sharing, Suzanne. I appreciate you. So I got a comment on my page, and people were curious about what causes the hair loss and how you can prevent it. So I'm going to share some of these things here. This is what I've learned on my own personal journey. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I'm happy to share what I've kind of learned and what I've experienced. So let me go ahead and get into it. Hi, Leah. Welcome. So just waving to a few new people that just jumped on. Welcome. So first things first, calorie deficits. So the whole goal on a health journey, of course, is to lose weight, right? And that's why the ketogenic lifestyle is so amazing, because you can have some really dramatic weight loss, but you need to make sure you're eating enough. The whole idea is not to starve yourself. So make sure your calorie deficit is not too low. You want to make sure you're hitting your macros. So for ketogenic lifestyle, you want to do around 70% fat. So it's high fat, moderate protein, usually about 25% protein, and then 5% carbs. So you usually want to limit your carb intake from anywhere to 20 to 25 grams of carbs per day if you are not working out. And if you're working out regularly, you can have closer to 30 to 35 grams of carbs, as long as that is like a super active lifestyle and you're maintaining that. So when your body is not getting enough calories, your body kind of goes into recovery mode. So it will spend less energy on the non-vital systems, and hair is one of them. So that's why usually when people are experiencing dramatic weight loss, one of the first symptoms they will experience is hair loss as a result of that. So they kind of go hand in hand. I don't want to say it's normal, but it kind of can be normal to experience hair loss as you start seeing that weight trickle off. So it can be kind of like a beginning trigger of the weight loss process, but there are some things you can do to help compensate for it and to kind of get things back in check. So I'm going to go over those with you now. So first things first, electrolytes. I know I talked about this in my last video. I feel like I talk about it constantly in a lot of my videos, and it's because it's so important. You know, these are really key, especially when you're first starting your keto diet. So when I think last week for Win It Wednesday, I talked about the keto flu and what that is and what the symptoms are. And we went over specifically why electrolytes are so important. So I'm not going to go too in depth on that. And if you're curious and you want to know more, feel free to swing back and check out last Wednesday's Win It Wednesday. We talked about the keto flu. But during your first week of the ketogenic lifestyle especially, your body will begin to flush out the toxins. And as a result of that, you'll lose a lot of essential vitamins and minerals that your body really needs. So we have to be diligent to make sure we replace these. So when you guys reach out to me or you're commenting on my videos and you're saying, you know what, I'm feeling sick, I'm feeling dizzy, I'm feeling nauseous, I have heart palpitations, like whatever it may be, there's a whole list of different symptoms you can experience, which we typically call the keto flu. And lack of electrolytes can really spur this on. Hey Luna, thanks for joining. Thank you so much for the share. So make sure, like, you know, when I just say electrolytes, don't just like, oh, that's nothing, not a big deal. Everybody says that. Like, no, we need to focus on it. It's really important. You need to be diligent to replace these things that your body is missing. So things like pink Himalayan salt, water with electrolytes, sodium, zinc, magnesium, potassium. These are all really important minerals, keys, nutrients that we have to get back into your body. So, by the way, speaking of water with electrolytes, I know I've shared this before on my health journey, but typically I don't buy water. But if you are going to buy water, especially in the beginning on your keto journey, I highly recommend it. Get yourself a nice high quality water that's got electrolytes already in the water. And that first week, it will really make a big difference on how well you feel. So if you want to, feel free to go ahead and comment and share with me whether you've experienced the keto flu. You can go ahead and comment flu below. I did experience a little bit of the keto flu, but I focused on my electrolytes right away and I was able to stop it and prevent it from getting any worse. So speaking of the water with electrolytes, somebody did comment on my post today and ask which water I recommended with electrolytes. So there's so many out there, you guys, and I'm sure there's a lot of really good choices. I'll just mention two that I can find locally that really worked for me, that I enjoy. But by all means, don't think that those are the only two good ones out there. So I'm in New York, so sometimes I kind of have, and not in New York City. I'm in upstate New York, so sometimes I am limited on some of the healthy types of things I can find here. But Two of my favorite electrolyte waters are Smart Water and Life Water. So you will see, and I wish I had a bottle here. I usually have a few kicking around, but you'll see that there's no added sugar or anything. It's just a nice pure water with added electrolytes. So you will get those minerals and things back into your system. And it really doesn't make a big impact, especially on your first week or two while you're keto. So if you have a favorite water that you take with electrolytes, a favorite brand or anything you would like to share with the group here, feel free to go ahead and comment below. I would love to see some of the other choices that we can share, and maybe if we can find them locally, we can give them a try as well. So yeah, my favorite types of what, yeah, so Suzanne likes Life Water too. Yeah, me too. So, but my favorite ways to kind of sub my electrolytes is to do the pink Himalayan salt. You can buy a nice fine grade. You can put it in filtered water, put it on all of your food. It's so important and it's so good for your body. And then I like to do the water with electrolytes. Now, I haven't played around too much with an actual electrolyte supplement. I did do some research on it. I personally found it to be a little bit overwhelming, so I don't have something in particular I can recommend for you all to try. But you're looking for something that doesn't have sugar in it, that doesn't have fillers. And if anybody has any really great brands of electrolytes that they love, I would love for you to go ahead and comment and share here, because I'd be eager to learn myself. So yeah, things like sodium, zinc, magnesium, and potassium for sure are additional vitamins that you want to get back into your system. So another factor that can impact hair loss is actually stress. Stress can be a super huge culprit behind hair loss. So, you know, if you find that you haven't lost a lot of weight and you feel like, you know, that's not really a main cause, and if you feel like you're getting enough calories and that's not the reason, maybe it's time to take a look at the stress factors in your life and see what you can do to try and eliminate those. I know, looking back a few years now and recognizing when my hair loss started to happen, it was a super stressful period in my life, and my hair was just falling out in gobs everywhere. So yeah, try to do what you can to bring the stress factor down. You know, I know for me, I do some things like yoga and meditation and deep breathing exercises, but whatever you can do to try and reduce that stress would be super helpful for you. So, let's see. Oh, another cause of hair loss is not getting enough protein. And that's probably one of the more common ones that people are usually aware of. So when you have a calorie deficit in protein, it definitely has a direct impact on your hair health, and it can cause hair loss. So make sure you're getting enough protein. So I know for me, when I first started my keto lifestyle, I first started with trying to figure out how to get my carbs in check, because I was eating way too many carbs in the beginning. So I started to kind of whittle down and get myself down to 20 grams of carbs. And once that became easy, I started to focus on, okay, I know my protein's not where it needs to be. I think my protein macros are something close to like 80 or 90 grams of protein every day. And I was, you know, maybe hitting 30 if I was lucky. So yeah, you know, if the numbers aren't adding up, you have to kind of start learning about what foods you can add in to make sure you're hitting your protein goals. Now, you do sometimes have to be careful with protein. Everybody's body is a little bit different. So depending on how your body responds to protein, if your body potentially gets too much protein, it can convert to sugar and it can break your ketosis for some people, not for everybody. I do have quite a few friends that are actually doing the carnivore lifestyle. So it's basically all meat and some dairy and cheese, maybe depending on whether they are doing dairy or whether they're dairy free or not. But I've got quite a few friends who are pretty much pure carnivore, and they're still doing great with their health journey. So that's not the case for everybody, but for some people, protein can be a trigger. So you just have to kind of test it out and see how it does for your body. So let's see here. So some tips and tricks for how you can help to prevent hair loss and make it better is, first things first, make sure you're supplementing with collagen. I'm guessing on the number here, so feel free to correct me if somebody knows and I'm wrong, but I think past the age of 20, your body actually stops producing collagen. So you start to anti-age. Sorry, so you start to age, and there is no reversing that aging process. So you want to get start to take different things into your body that can be anti-aging to help slow down that process. You know what I mean, you guys? So I do take a really amazing supplement that helps to supplement collagen. So if you want to know about my trick, you can go ahead and comment trick below, and I'll circle back through and get you some more information. But yeah, you definitely want to do a collagen supplement. It will help with your hair, skin, and your nails. Also, another good one that's very affordable is coconut oil. We all know that coconut oil is like the magic. So if you love coconut oil, go ahead and give me some coconut emojis below, and maybe share one of your favorite ways to use coconut oil. And I know there's a ton of different ways you can use it, so feel free to comment just whatever is on your heart. I just love coconut oil for so many different reasons. And I'm seeing all the trick comments, so thank you for that. I'll make sure I circle back around and chat with you guys. But coconut oil is good for hair loss as well, on top of all of the other things. So you can do it topically, you can do it orally. So of course it's good if you actually put it on your hair and your scalp, but you can actually ingest it too, and it's just so good for your body. Yeah, and I'm seeing all the coconut comments coming through, so that's awesome. I love myself some coconut oil. It really is like, I don't know, the magic of the gods. So speaking of coconut oil, some reasons why it's good for you is that it's full of antioxidants. It's also good for, it's got vitamin K, E, and iron in it. And iron, of course, helps you absorb your protein, which is going to help you with your hair as well. So just some neat little tips and tricks about coconut oil. You can see I took some really good notes. I actually did some really good research for this. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video. If you are, go ahead and give me some hearts below. So also another trick for you is you want to eat foods that are high in zinc. And I do have some examples here for you. So typically they're meats. So lamb, beef, cacao, mushrooms, chicken. Those are all different things that you can ingest that are high in zinc that will help you with your hair. So thank you so much for all the hearts, you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're also amazing to me. So I appreciate all of your love and support with everything that I do here. So trying to see if I missed anything. Oh, so speaking of coconut oil, so one of my favorite ways to ingest coconut oil is to add it to a bulletproof coffee. So do I have any bulletproof coffee fans? If I do, go ahead and give me a coffee emoji, or you can comment BPC below. But I know I've done a video before on this, but I just love bulletproof coffee. It's just so good for your brain health and your brain support. Hi, Bill. Thanks for jumping on. Hi, Anna. So I just love bulletproof coffee. So if you're scared of it, don't be scared. It's a really great way to up your healthy fats for your fat macros. And I just do a tablespoon of grass-fed butter and a tablespoon of coconut oil. I have my little trick supplement that I add to it as well. I throw it in the blender and it gets this nice frothy, delicious awesomeness. It's so creamy and delicious, and I promise you, it doesn't taste disgusting. So yeah, Anna says she loves it. Suzanne loves it. I mean, I honestly, the first time I ever heard about bulletproof coffee, I was like, that sounds disgusting, right? And Denise adds MCT oil to hers, which is amazing. MCT oil has all of the high quality coconut oil strands in it. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job explaining that. But the best, highest quality strands of coconut oil are actually in MCT oil, and they're amazing for your brain support. So yeah, I love throwing mine in the blender. You just pulse it for like 5 or 6 seconds, and it turns into this frothy latte. You feel like you're at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, and I just enjoy that treat for myself every day. And it's interesting, all of those healthy fats really do help to sustain you. You feel full, you feel satisfied. I don't need to eat all morning long, and I'm usually not hungry till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're looking for a little trick about how to curb your sugar cravings and get more control over your day, one of the best ways to do that is by doing a bulletproof coffee every morning. And then by ingesting that coconut oil, besides the support it does for your brain function, you're also getting the support for your hair as well. So Carla says she does every morning and breakfast and sometimes as lunch. I mean, absolutely, it's good for you. So So, you know, it's not something you have to worry about. So those are all of my tips and tricks about why we suffer from hair loss when we make a health change in our lives and how we can help to prevent it and get control over it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that part of the video. I've got 2 more quick topics that we had questions on earlier today. So the next question I got is, what is lazy keto? So does anybody know? And if you want to go ahead and comment and share, I'll wait like 30 seconds for the comments to flow through. But what does lazy keto mean for you? And how many of you are lazy keto? If you are, you can comment lazy keto below. I'd be curious to know. Because that's not me. I don't know, I kind of do a mix. I have my moments. Usually I'm pretty strict on my macros, and I'm kind of geeky. I enjoy the science of learning about my macros, but some people are lazy keto, and that's okay too. So basically lazy keto means just that you're not tracking your macros. So it means that it's not necessarily that you do cheat days, Court. It actually just means that you're not tracking your macros. So you know what the expectation is for a ketogenic lifestyle. You know what the guidelines are, and you know what foods you're supposed to eat, but it's just that you don't track it. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean that you cheat and that, you know, you go off the path once in a while, which, you know, sometimes we do, and that's okay. But yeah, I think lazy keto sometimes gets a bad rap because somebody says they're lazy keto. It gives the idea that they cheat every other day, and that's actually not the case. So sometimes I do a mix. In the beginning, I encourage everybody to track their macros for at least 2 weeks so you can kind of see what food looks like and understand whether you're over or under eating. I think that's really important. And then once you do that, if you want to switch to a lazy keto, that's something that you can definitely do. So I find that now I'm pretty lazy keto. I'll track like a few times a month just to make sure I'm where I need to be. For me to be successful in my weight loss, I have to be up over 100 grams of fat every day. I just find that if I'm not eating enough fat, I'm not losing the weight. And I'm pretty close to my goal weight now, so I'm just like maybe like 5 pounds away, 3 to 5 pounds. So I'm really trying to hit it, and I have to really be, if I really want to hit my goal, I've got to make sure I'm really on with my fats, and I have to up my workout game a little bit. So dirty and lazy keto is the same thing, Kaylee, so that's a good question. It just means that you're not tracking your macros. So speaking of macros, I know I'm kind of a nerd about it, but if you do want to learn a little bit more about your macros, I've got a great macro video, and if you want help with your macros, feel free to send me a private message and just say, hey, I saw your video, I would like some help with macros, and I'm happy to get you set up. You can also comment macro below. The problem is that I get so many macro comments, I usually can't get to everybody. So if you really do want some macro help, don't be afraid to send me a message. I'm super personable, and exactly how I am on here is how I will treat you in a message, just with lots of love and support. So Suzanne said she likes to track it with MyFitnessPal. I personally love Senza. So for those of you that don't know, I was counting calories for like a year and a half or 2 before I went keto, and I was using MyFitnessPal. Now I don't know if it has changed because that was a few years ago, but I personally found the database for MyFitnessPal to be very inadequate and lacking. So I would plug things in, and I would be thinking that my calories were at a certain goal, and then I would find out that those numbers were completely wrong. So for me, I personally don't like MyFitnessPal, but I know some people use it and they love it and they have great success with it. Just be careful, like check the database and just make sure. So yeah. Aw, thanks for the love, Suzanne. I appreciate it. So let's see here. Okay, so the last question that I got for this Win It Wednesday was somebody was asking what the optimal amount of water is to drink for optimal results. Oh, so before I move over, actually, Deborah's got a really great question. So for those of you that don't know, macro is a macronutrient, and it's broken down into 3 different categories. It's protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Those are all called macronutrients. And depending on what kind of lifestyle you're doing, whether you're paleo, you're low carb, whether you're keto, or you're counting calories, you know, depending on the lifestyle that you've chosen, you want your macros, your macronutrients to fit within a certain range. So for keto, it's typically 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbs. And I usually do higher fat. I usually do closer to like 75% for me personally. So, thanks for the love, Court. I appreciate it. So yes, and getting a little scale and weighing your food, you'd be surprised how little 5 ounces really is. When you say you're eating 5 ounces of meat, like it's literally like it's teeny tiny. So sometimes measuring, that's why I think for 2 weeks, if you can just commit to tracking your macros and weighing things, it will drastically change the results on your health journey, because you're probably finding you're eating way more than you should be. I know when I first started tracking, I was hitting closer to 40 grams of carbs per day, which is double the expectation of what is normally acceptable in a ketogenic lifestyle. So I learned a lot my first month, and I made a lot of mistakes. And the biggest key is, if you make mistakes, just keep going. I suffer from the vice of perfectionism. Like, I like everything to be perfect. So I find for me, staying motivated after I made a mistake was extremely difficult, but I'm glad I stuck with it, because that first month was a really big learning curve and I just kept pushing through it. So Tammy says she's lost too much. So you can actually, once you're at the weight, and I can't see the rest of your comment there, I'll have to check it out after. It only lets me read so much. But once you've hit where you want to be, you can learn to maintain. So that's totally fine. So okay, so the last question I had is, what are goals? So, and I know I talk about this a lot, so for some of you this may be review, but it's really important that you're getting enough water in every day. And when I first started getting healthy, water was not something that was easy for me. I was highly addicted to soda. Mountain Dew was my vice. So if you had a drink vice, if you want to share it below, whether it was, I don't know, an energy drink, Red Bull, or whatever, feel free to go ahead and comment and share. I think it's great for people to share and kind of see that we're all human and we're all alike. But Mountain Dew was my vice. I was addicted to the sugar, and I never drank water. I was using sugary drinks as a way to sustain my body, which is really not good. Your body, I think, is like 98% water or something like that. So it needs water to really survive and really to be able to just function. Your cells are primarily made out of water. So yeah, I see Coke, I see Mountain Dew, so totally relate to you guys that are addicted. So it took me a while, but the more I committed to it, I actually only crave water now. I can actually feel when I'm dehydrated. So when you are working on your water goals, essentially you should be drinking half of your body's weight in ounces of water. So for instance, if you weigh 160 pounds, that means you need 80 ounces of water. So what I did was, as I went out and I bought myself a 20-ounce cup, and I figured out how many times I needed to refill it each day. So for me, when I first started my health journey, I needed to refill it 4 times a day. I needed 80 ounces of water, and I just kind of mapped out my day roughly. So I figured if I have one in the morning when I wake up, that's 20 ounces. And then if I have one mid-morning with some of my, either my breakfast or my supplements or whatever your routine is, that's 40 ounces. You could have another 20 ounces for your lunch, so that puts you at 60. So then by the time you get home, you can usually have quite easily another 20 ounces with dinner, or another 20 ounces before you go to bed. So I think it's important, especially in the beginning, to kind of map out your day and kind of know where you need to be. In the beginning, I thought I was doing a really great job with my water game, and I was kind of I think I was getting about 40 ounces of water. So I wasn't even close to what my body needed to sustain itself. And the cool thing about water is, a lot of times your body in the beginning has lost the sensation of feeling thirsty. And I talk about this a lot when I do my fasting videos, but usually you feel hungry. So if you're feeling hungry, you may actually be thirsty. So I usually tell people, if you're feeling that hunger pang, have some water first and see if it goes away. And if it does, you are actually thirsty. And the better you are about getting the water back into your body, the more you will be able to actually get your sense of thirst back, which for me, it took me a really long time to get that back, but is definitely doable. So just keep up with it and don't lose heart. So I see you guys are chatting back and forth about weighing the food, which I think is amazing. Thank you all for just jumping in and helping each other. But I usually weigh the food before I cook it. But I think you could do it however you prefer. So, So yeah, that is everything that I had for you guys tonight. I appreciate you all so much for joining me. I hope that you learned a few brand new things about keto. So if you have any future topics for Win It Wednesday for our keto tips and tricks, feel free to go back and comment on my Wednesday post, so that way I can pull together some more information for next week. And if you had a great time and you learned lots of things about keto tonight, feel free to go ahead and send me a friend request, hit follow, and give this video a quick share. I so appreciate your love and support. Thanks everybody, have a great night, and I'll be back to chat with you guys again soon. Take care.